Hey, and welcome to Neverwinter with Aragon. So here I want to cover alternatives to the Black Death Scorpion. You may have seen a clip from me. I know a lot of you have. For some reason it got over 30,000 views. It was just a short I made. So the Black Death Scorpion versus literally anything else. I need to make sure I have combat advantage against my target. We'll flank around. See that purple marker there? We have combat advantage. Excellent. Oh, okay, we need to move a little bit. Oh, okay, we need to move again a bit. No problem. Are you serious? Again? Come on, companion. Just stand in one place, would you? You serious? You come over here? You can't just stay on the other side? Nah, I'm done. And that is why you use the Black Death Scorpion. With his too many legs ability. We simply go in our fight, we attack the guy, and there we go. No matter where we stand, we have that purple ring around the target. Doesn't matter where we go, we will always deal that 90% more damage against the enemy. Good riddance, spider. And so that's the reason you would use the companion and why it's so powerful. And in particular, you also have party content like the Rise of Tiamat, where you're required to have that because you don't normally have combat advantage against your target unless you have special classes who can make the target grant combat advantage with their powers, which are few and far between, and you usually end up losing damage on that class when you use them, or you simply just have this companion. However, that is not the only companion that can do that. There are alternatives you can use, but to a much lesser effect, and we've got to go and check them all out. These right here are all the different alternatives that you can use. All of them, again, having that ability which can cause the target to grant combat advantage. Your Blink Dog, your Cantankerous Mage, Dancing Blade, Panther, Pseudo Dragon, Swashbuckler, and your Yeth Hound. But we need to see how effective they are. How good of an alternative actually are they versus the Black Death Scorpion, and which one would be best to go with then? Because the Black Death Scorpion can just get very, very expensive. Still, nearly 3 million just to buy it. And it's not account wide. Meaning if you wanted this on multiple characters, yikes, that's expensive. Just be aware the Astral lockbox does currently contain the Black Death Scorpion as a drop from there. It's just so low that it's very rare to obtain it. Additionally, if you opened an older lockbox here, the redeemed lockbox, you could also get this redeemed epic companion pack, which also has the Black Death Scorpion. It just doesn't have the trade bar drops, so you lose a ton of value by opening this box versus others. But let's jump into the details of all of these alternative companions to the Black Death Scorpion that have the similar effect. I've went and tested them all out, found out the uptime they have on that ability, and how does it compete with the Black Death Scorpion. Again, the Black Death Scorpion is special because it has 100% uptime on its ability. His attack only has a 3-second cooldown, and that grant combat advantage effect lasts for 8 seconds, and so he's easily able to maintain that effect always. You compare that versus alternatives like the Yeth Hound, and they're only going to cause that on their Pounce, which has a 5-second cooldown and a 2.2 second cast, and the duration of that combat advantage is only 4 seconds, a short time as they put it. So it can't maintain it 100% of the time. None of the alternatives can, and that's why they are alternatives, and that's why the Black Death Scorpion is an outlier. It stands apart from the rest because that ability is 100% uptime, always going to have that pincer's effect on the target. He can even refresh it, giving multiple stacks of this, which just means it's even easier for him to maintain this effect on the target. You can see, regardless of where we stand, we're going to get combat advantage. An alternative would be like the Blink Dog. You can see he teleports and then we get combat advantage. But again, it only lasts 4 seconds, and then there's all this time where we're not getting damage. So we would have to go and make sure to position correctly. And when you do that, you can end up in scenarios where the companion may not end up like moving back to its position. Specifically, if you play at range, it's going to try be closer towards you. That's usually when you're like 50 feet or so. You can see now the Blink Dog goes to this side of the target, so he's closer to me. Whereas if I wanted to be on this side, I want to be range, I want to be going attacking from, let's say, this distance, then you can see the companion tries to stay closer towards you. So it can be a bit annoying. But ultimately, these are my test results. These are all those companions and all the alternatives you can use. Tested, you can see their uptime, you can see how much damage you would lose if you had 90% combat advantage and you were to use this companion versus the others without like moving yourself, particularly just relying on the companion's effect. And you can see the companion's damage DPS, and then whether it's melee or ranged, and then its ability. One thing to note is do not run with a ranged companion if you're wanting to have this effect, like when you're solo. So we could have the Cantankerous Mage, for example. Because of this distance between the target, he's going to keep some distance, and if we're on this side, it's a lot easier to be like further away from the companion, and he's going to move close to you. So it's a nightmare to try position correctly with a ranged companion. So that's the first thing to note. Don't run with a ranged companion and you'll have a life a lot easier just by being able to position yourself to get combat advantage. So that's why that's important to note there. But we can sort it with the uptime on combat advantage, and we can see the best alternatives would be then the Panther, the Yethound. I believe they're exactly the same. It's just a fractional difference in terms of the test results. But yeah, those companions are going to be the best for maintaining that combat advantage effect. However, they fall behind in terms of just raw damage there compared to alternatives you could use. For example, you could use the Pseudo Dragon or Swashbuckler, and they're going to deal some decent damage themselves, along with still giving that effect of granting combat advantage. But I would say in most cases, if you're really trying to go for high uptime on that effect, you would be better off, everybody going Panthers or Yethounds. Have a few of them in the party, and that'll probably be the equivalent of a Black Death Scorpion if you're lucky with the timing and the shifting of that. But still, it's not 100% reliable. None of them have 100% uptime versus the Black Death Scorpion. The closest they get, 59%. So you're still missing like nearly 20% damage that you could normally gain if you had the Black Death Scorpion. You're losing out on that much. Just be aware of the prices of those companions. People like to play around with them a lot. If you're looking for an alternative, perhaps a Panther or the Yethound, and you want to have the high CA uptime, don't pay so much for it. I'll check the prices right now. You shouldn't buy a Panther for more than that. I believe the Yethound is pretty rare. There's very few of them, so that could well go up in price just because it's visuals. You might think it's cool as well. I think it's a bit ugly though. And the Pseudo Dragon has always been pretty expensive. But the Swashbuckler, pretty cheap there. And again, you shouldn't pay more than that. Just wait until prices go back down again. People are going to want to manipulate them. Again, this guy will be available in the Astral lockbox, which is currently available. You can buy it off the auction house from other players, but you will be able to buy it from the game at 60,000 Astral Diamonds during the Wondrous Bazaar discount on February the 8th. So that is coming soon, but be really careful. Astral lockboxes have a lot of randomness with them, and you're going to end up being disappointed because you're not going to get what you want. If I open an Astral lockbox and I just want a Black Death Scorpion, expect to open over 1,000 of them before you get it, because there's a big selection there of different rewards that you can get. It's not a reliable source for that, but some people are going to get lucky. They're going to drop it, they're going to sell it. The price then doesn't remain like super high on the auction house. But still, I would not pay over $1 million for a freaking Black Death Scorpion. Even then, these things sold at like 100k. But again, that's all the alternatives in terms of the companions that can grant that combat advantage effect. Their uptime on that, how much damage the companion has then, and you can also see the effects there. Cast time, duration, cooldowns, and how much damage you'll be losing by using this companion and just relying on its ability. In most cases, you can just move. For example, we just go in this Abyssal Hunt, and then we move to get combat advantage against the enemy, and then we just stay here with our companion on the other side. It can be a bit arranged there so we aren't getting damaged, and our companion should still just stay on the other side as long as it's a melee companion. If it's a ranged companion, you'll notice they'll a lot more often move to your side and lose that effect. Also, we are running the pseudo dragon. He will put up that grant combat advantage effect for, again, nearly half the time, but for the time that it's not, you might want to just save your encounters for when it's back up, depending on what position you're in. And that's it. Very useful for these hunts. You do not want to miss out on upwards of that 90% combat advantage damage you can get against these guys. But if you're like a rogue or a warlock, you can take advantage of, for example, this ability, advantageous position. So it doesn't matter where I am at, after I leave stealth, I'm going to have combat advantage for 5 seconds against my target, meaning I can pretty much have that effect up all the time, which is pretty powerful. I don't have to bother with positioning. Warlock has the same with their class feature that allows them to get combat advantage against everything. But just doing your dragon hunts and doing those abyssal hunts and any solo versus bosses, most of the time you can just position with your companion and don't have to worry about it needing to grant you combat advantage. But there are some situations where you cannot. And that's particularly Rise of Tiamat trial against those dragon heads. You can't move for combat advantage, you can't flank them, so you lose 90% damage. So you want to have one of these companions to give you that effect, or you play a certain class. And then there is Xemnit's Reliquary that also has Tiamat in that, where you can't get combat advantage, and she has a ton of hit points, and you need to get through her before the phase is over and you all die. So you have to have a companion like this to get through it, to give you that extra damage. So once again, those are all the alternatives, and hopefully this was somewhat insightful. I would really like them to add this Scorpion to the Zen market for the traditional price and have it account wide. That would be very nice. Or just increase the effect of some of the other companions that we can get more reliable bonus from them, so that we can actually make use of that effect a lot better with them. And there isn't just one companion monopolizing that entire space with 100% and then the next vest is only 60% at best. So a special thank you to all of these channel members for their added support. Thank you for watching. We'll see you guys around. Goodbye for now.